15 days without a Celtic game, and you're thinking, my goodness, I just want normal football to return. One player that's on loan at Celtic from Benfica, Paulo Bernardo, sent a reminder to Celtic of his qualities while on international duty. The Portuguese under-21 player started and got 76 minutes of the game in the thumping win over Belarus. He got on the score sheet too, playing in the middle of the park. He did put in an impressive performance, and his goal came in the second half to make it 4-1. And as you can see, I'm not going to show you the video because it'll get done for copyright, but the ball comes out from the wing. The player comes in at the edge of the box, and Paulo Bernardo's on the edge of the box. Now, a lot of people will say he's probably playing in the position that you would expect Matt O'Reilly to be in. So where does Paulo Bernardo fit in this Celtic team? The Portuguese didn't have it all their own way. They did have 77% possession. But from a Celtic point of view, Paulo Bernardo scored an absolute cracker of a goal from outside the box. One player that did score a goal or two was a player that used to be at Celtic, and you have to go to say that the Grumpy Greek, as I called him. Now, a lot of people are saying we shouldn't have sold him. The fact is that he wanted to leave Celtic because he wasn't getting enough game time. He felt that he should be getting more game time at Celtic, so he felt he had no option but to leave the club. Saying that we shouldn't have sold him, it's bad enough having a player that is unhappy at a club, but if a player wants to move on, you've got to let him go. It's as simple as that. He has moved on. He's went on to play in America, and he basically got one over Liam Scales last night. The forward was leading the line for Greece. Scales did get his first start for Ireland, and I've got to say, Scales did have an interesting start to his international career. It's an unexpected rise of Liam Scales. Although he's been at Celtic for a couple of years, Liam Scales did go out on loan, and you can see the pictures. He had quite a few tussles with the Greek. When Brendan Rodgers came into Celtic for a second time, Scales looked very much surplus to requirements. It looked as if he was that far out of the club. We did bring in other defenders. Once we let Carl Starfelt leave the club, and everyone thought, look, we're bringing in Gustav, we're bringing in Rocky, they're the ones that are going to go up and be with Cameron Carter-Vickers. He looked that far down, and he was only moments away from going back to Aberdeen this summer. And there was even talk about Aberdeen wanting to buy the player. Stephen Welsh obviously handed a new 4-year deal also during the summer, so you're thinking, right, maybe Scales isn't going to get his chance at Celtic. But however, the way it's developed over the last couple of months, he now looks like the man who has completely claimed that position for his own. It's going to be really hard to see what player is going to come in and take the jumper off him, as they say. Scales is going to make a strong case to be a regular starter with Cameron Carter-Vickers, with his performances, the fact that he did manage to get his first start for Ireland, and it looked as if he could play at that level. Great displays caught the eye of Stephen Kenny, and Liam Scales gets his first international cap in Dublin against Greece, although the Republic fell to a little defeat. But it was a proud moment, it has to be said. It was a proud moment for Liam Scales and his family. When you just look at a couple of months ago, there was no chance of him going anywhere near the Ireland squad. And then when you look at the goal that Paulo Bernardo scored also, it's been an interesting night. It's been a really interesting weekend for Celtic players. Now, when we look at the likes of Alistair Johnston, who was playing for Canada against Japan, and we all know who got the bragging rights on that one, so Alistair Johnston won't be looking forward to coming back to the dressing room with the Japanese boys, because I'm sure they'll give him a good little bit of banter. And you know that Alistair Johnston's a player that can probably dish it out, so he's probably going to be getting it tight from the Japanese lads, and rightly so, because they were absolutely hammered. When you look at it, Ange Postecoglou brought in players that could play in a certain way. The current manager has changed the way that the fullbacks play. He has changed it slightly. You're still getting the likes of Taylor coming inside into the middle of the park, and a lot of people are saying that that's leaving the left-hand side of the pitch open. Liam Scales did play for Ireland, and he played on the left-hand side of the defence, and he's more than capable of covering that end of the pitch. Should Celtic play with a back three? That's one of the big questions that I think should be asked. Should we play with a back three? But there's not a lot more Celtic news going about. It is 15 days. The time that we get round to watching Celtic again it would be 15 days since we last seen Celtic play. And on that note, try and have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to